Good morning, Faith Community Church. We're here for another Advent reading. We're praying that you are having a blessed week as you're following along in the scriptures. We're going to be in the book of Isaiah this morning, and we're super excited. I have myself here along with Clint, McClure, our children's director. And tell us a little bit about Isaiah. We have Isaiah 7, 9, 11. Selected readings. Talk to us about them.
Right. So you should be in Isaiah's chapter 7, 9, 11, and not the whole chapters, but some of the key verses in there. If you have not read this yet, we're going to pause real quick, and then we're going to come back to it, because I'm not going to read all of this, but we're just going to touch on a few select passages inside it. So pause the video right now, and then we'll come back. So Isaiah 7, 9, and 11. Starting in chapter 7, this is Isaiah kind of in the midst of rebuking Ahaz here. Ahaz has the same kind of attitude as Pharaoh in this, where God says, ask for a sign from the Lord your God, and it can be as deep as Sheol or as high as heaven. But Ahaz replies, I will not ask, I will not test the Lord, which sounds good, right? But in reality, this is God telling him, I want you to do this, and he's not doing it. So you can go into more in depth there, but it's Isaiah's reply here that we're listening to. And in starting in verse 13 in chapter 7, he says, listen, house of David, it is not enough for you to try the patience of men. We will also try the patience of my God. Therefore, the Lord himself will give you a sign. And so these passages are really exciting because these deal directly with talking about Jesus. This is less of the gray area kind of like, oh yeah, I guess, yes, this is how Jesus is appearing here. He's actually talking about him here and how he's coming to earth. So here's what he says. See, the virgin will conceive, have a son, and name him Emmanuel. This is a crazy statement. It blows me away. And during Christmas time, we sing songs about this, we hear this word a lot, and a lot of times we just like, oh yes, Emmanuel, God with us, yeah, that's great. But in this time, like, they didn't have Jesus yet. They're talking about when he's coming. And it's super, super exciting. First, I think of like, okay, so Mary's this young woman, right? And Holy Spirit comes, or angel comes, says, you will be pregnant with child. And so never happened before, ever in history. No matter what culture you're in, this is bad news bears if divine intervention doesn't come in and make things okay, right? So she has to tell Joseph that, hey, I'm pregnant. And they're not married yet. They're just engaged. And Joseph's like, okay, I don't want any part of this anymore because, how is he going to believe her until an angel comes and tells him, right? So it's talking about a virgin will conceive, have a son, and they will name him Emmanuel. And so back then, they would have known what this meant, not just a random name, that God with us is coming. So this is a huge statement here, all right? And this is super, super exciting for us to see this. This is nearly 700 years before Jesus comes. So that's 2700 that we're predicting something here. That's like somebody back in 1300s saying Curtis Lewis is going to be born. I'm sorry, that's not nearly as exciting. No, but still, it's the same kind of concept here, that a virgin will conceive, have a son, and name him Emmanuel. And so he talks a little bit more about that here, but I think, I could be wrong here, this is one of the first times that we see that a virgin will conceive here. And so I'm not quite sure on the timeline here of where this is at, but this is why it's in our Advent reading, because now we're talking directly about Jesus. I mean, we're going all the way back to Genesis 3:15. There's those things that are written there, but this is just short of mentioning him by name.
Yeah, this is, you could start singing songs right now.
That's right, exactly. I think I will start singing songs.
No, please don't.
Okay. But still.
Yeah, it continues on, and we hop into Isaiah chapter 9. Talk to us a little bit about what's going on there and why that's exciting.
Right. So, and he's mentioning the lands of Israel here, where he's kind of getting into the future of what's going on with the people here. And then he gets a little, he's not directly addressing Jesus, but now he's talking about him by other names here. So not just saying that a virgin will conceive, but he gives him other titles in this area. So one of the areas right here is the people will walk in darkness, have seen a great light. A light has dawned on those living in the land of darkness. And so this is kind of the beginning of a little section talking about who Jesus is and who he's going to be, and talking about him as a light. And so a little bit farther down, now he's kind of back into where he was up here. For a child will be born to us. A son will be given to us. The government will be on his shoulders, and he will be named Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Eternal Father, Prince of Peace. You sure you don't want me to sing? Because I pretty much just did.
Yeah, I know you did. So you might harmonize, and we can just go for it.
Yeah, we can. But so now, like, he's given him these titles of Wonderful Counselor, and so knowing who Jesus is, like, we already know this about him. But how exciting is this for people who have not seen, who have not seen him yet, and who won't be alive by the time he comes, but them knowing that the future of their nation, their children's children, all the way down the line, are going to be able to be with this man that's being described here. And this is a lot of what the hype is of the Israelites coming up. This is what the shepherds are talking about. Yeah. Like, oh, this is him. This is the guy this is the baby, the one that Isaiah here is talking about. So this is what's addressed here by the Pharisees and everybody who knows anything about Jesus. This is what we're getting into here. So Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Eternal Father, and Prince of Peace. And so later on in chapter 11, and well, this will be the last bit here of these passages, but Isaiah doesn't just like stop at his birth. He talks about what Jesus is coming here to do. He's not just going to come, rule supreme, and that's, fairy tale, happily ever after. There's a lot of stuff that goes on, obviously. I mean, you have the whole Testament, we get down to Revelation. And so he talks about eventually what Jesus is here to do. The wolf will dwell with the lamb, the leopard will lie down with the goat, the calf, the young lion, and the fattened calf will be together, and a child will lead them. The cow and the bear will graze. Their young ones will lie down together, and the lion will eat straw like cattle. An infant will play beside the cobra's pit. A toddler will put his hand into the snake's den. They will not harm or destroy each other on my entire holy mountain, for the land will be as full of the knowledge of the Lord as the sea is filled with water. And so that last title that they gave him, Prince of Peace, all this right here, this is talking about like new heaven, new earth, right? Because we want to get back to creation, and that's what this whole timeline story is about. God restoring his people back to the perfection of creation that he had made, restoring the relationship with us and him. And so, and we were talking about this a little earlier, that the picture of a lion laying down with a lamb like nothing. Yeah. Or like my toddler sticking her hand in a snake thing or something like that.
Yeah, playing.
Right. And pre-fall, that's fine.
Yeah.
Right? Because the snake is not going to bite. I mean, the lion's eating grass.
Yeah.
So that's
a reversal of all the fall, all the futility of the fall.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And all that is wrong is right again. And so again, this is the hype of the Israelites, of the wise men coming from this. They're not just coming to see, their nephew or somebody like that. Oh, I'm going to go visit family. I'm going to see the most historic birth in the history of the entire world. And the shepherds just happen to be right there next to him.
Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
I mean, the angel comes out and boom, the glory of the Lord shines.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like there's big events and things, like big sports events and stuff, the Super Bowl, things like that. Oh, and it's happening in my hometown. This is the shepherds. Yeah. The angels are here. Not only do you get to see this massive display of angels, which is pretty spectacular, the more spectacular thing is lying in a manger right next to you. Yeah. And so this is super, super fun. For them, and really the application here is get excited. Yeah. And nobody knows when Jesus is coming again. And I'm sure that it's going to be just as, if not more, spectacular here.
Yeah, as he went up to heaven, he's going to come back and return. The interesting thing is, all of this, the Prince of Peace, the suffering servant that we're going to see later in Isaiah, that was all his first coming. Mm-hmm. And his second coming, he's coming with a sword. Yep. And he's coming as a conquering ruler. Yep. And he's coming as a king that is going to wear white robes to a fight. If that's not confidence, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
But we're excited. May our hearts be lifted up. May this Advent season not stop at the manger, not stop at the cross, but might we look towards the heavens to see Jesus coming back and returning.
Yeah.
Yeah, amen. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. Clint, thank you so much. We appreciate your thoughts that you put into it. God bless.
See ya.